Hey everybody, it's Justin from the Camera Shop in Muskegon, and it is a beautiful Friday here in West Michigan, and I am hanging out with Mr. Barrett McGivney from Sony. Barrett,
Hi
how you
everybody, how you
doing?
doing?
So how's Chicago treating you, my friend?
Well, the weather today is absolutely gorgeous. You know, if I wasn't doing this, I'd be out on my bike right now. So if you notice from last time I was on, I actually have a little color in my face.
It looks like it's only on one side though.
Shut up. Just shut up.
Where were you driving or were you gardening? What
I,
was
I was on my bike. I was
on
actually,
your bike?
yeah, so it's just, I've been trying to do, whenever I'm on the bike, to do a minimum 10 miles. There's nice trail out here that if you went from beginning to end, it's like 26 miles long. I've done about 17 miles round trip so far.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow, that's a lot to do in a given day. I know the last time I biked that far was when I did this Youth Corps volunteer thing, and I biked all the way from my house on Evanston, which I know means nothing to you, and all the way out to the state park, which was like 30 miles round trip, but I didn't do it all at once. I went out, did the whole day, got my bike and rode back. So, but I think I had a flat tire, so I only made it one one direction. Ran over something along the way. I don't know. Um, so, anyways, we got together today because we're going to talk about streaming with Sony, correct?
Was definitely one of the things we want to talk about because I think when we were originally discussing this and set it up, it tied in really nicely with the release of our new camera, the ZV-1.
Ooh, and I just happen to have one of those ZV-1s here.
Do you now?
Yeah, and I thought it would
Ain't that a
just be,
coincidence?
yeah, it just, we got lucky, and I thought maybe we could do a quick unboxing with this.
If you so desire, yeah. I mean, it's
I mean,
pretty awesome.
Yeah, so tell us while I'm opening this up, Barrett, what is special about the ZV-1?
Well, it was designed with the vlogger in mind. As you know, we've kind of talked in the past about it as like the hybridization of the mirrorless cameras, of being stills and video. And with the ZV-1, it does do beautiful stills, but it is really geared towards the vlogger. Nowadays everybody wants to put their whole life up on social media, which is their prerogative. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I have a little bit of a tendency to be a little bit more of a private person. It's like. But with this one, it definitely has some very cool features into it. Let's see. Let's see if we can do this. This could be interesting.
Yeah, we can share. We can actually share the screen from the website. Is what we could do.
We could do that too. Whatever's easiest for you, because I did.
Yeah.
It took me a while to get some pieces for a PowerPoint presentation. So I don't know.
Yeah, if you've got that too, we can.
You should be able to see it on the other screen.
Yeah, give me just a second.
I think let's do, hold on once. Can you see it on the other screen?
No, I don't have your share screen popping up.
Okay, hold on. Let's see if we can do this. So I have to, it's all my fault, isn't it?
No, it's okay. I'll pop mine up in the meantime. So while we're waiting for yours here, so this is the ZV-1 camera, guys. Is there a special promo with that right now, Barrett?
There actually is. What they decided to do this time with the camera at the initial launch was it normally is going to retail for $799.95. You know me, I round everything up to the nearest dollar, so it's like $800. But now through June 28th, it's $750. And also too is if you get the accessory or you get the kit. We got that too.
Yeah, which is what I have on order. Yep, that's the little thing that we see in the screen, right?
Yes, that is the GP VPT1 MOUSE, if I remember correctly. I got mine in front of me. I don't know if you can see mine.
Oh wait, yeah, that's great. Here, I'll go back to us full screen so we can see that a little bit better.
Okay. Yeah,
There we
so
go.
this is it. Sadly, guys, I wish I had gotten a sample one by now, but one of my teammates, it's kind of ironic, he's out on the West Coast. He's teaching a class on the Xperia 1 too, which we talked about like, what, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, the cool cell phone that is fully integrated with everything.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that-
And he's also doing something on the ZV-1 today. And
Nice.
because he's based in California, he was able to get a hold of a sample, but it's been so hard to get your hands on them that they've been going to press and artisans and influencers and the collective, and they've been going around. So I think he promised a kidney or something to get the one that he's using. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I'll just use a slide presentation, but I got part of it. Right? But yeah, so with this thing, it turns into also a tripod, which is pretty wild. It has a button on the side that allows you to adjust it, so tilt to where you want. And also, as you're holding it, there's a button on the front that typically will allow you just to spin it like that, so you can make sure you've got it where you want it. It's really sick. This also works with other cameras as well. Just to let everyone know, before we signed on, since we're going to be talking about live streaming a little bit after the ZV-1, how you can use your existing camera as a webcam. And the reason we're not using it now is because there's a bit of a lag. So you'd be like, what the heck's going on? But the image quality is definitely better because I got the A6600 with the 18-105 power zoom, and I can use this to actually adjust the zoom because the lens is a power zoom. It's really, really cool in that respect. And I can start and stop the video. I can take stills. If I assign something to the custom one button, I can utilize it right from here.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's really simple. I mean, and easy to do. So if there's any camera that's got the ability to do like Bluetooth operation, you can pair up that with the camera, and then you can have it fun. And so you can actually stick your hand out. We do have cabled versions as well, which I usually have on display when we're doing events. But this one is nice because now it's Bluetooth.
So just so everyone knows, if you guys are tuning in and you guys have any questions, feel free to interrupt us. We're here to fulfill your camera question needs as far as it's concerned with Sony here. So I'm going to bring up your screen again here, Barrett.
Okie doke.
So this is, you've got what, a little presentation or something to show us here quick?
A little bit. It's something we're going to kind of go through this part of it real quick, and then if you want to do the unboxing after, that's really cool. So I did discover that in the slide presentation there is some videos as well, and we'll make sure that the sound comes through. I know you use StreamYard, and I'm so used to Zoom, and I'm like, okay, I hope the sound comes through. If not, no big deal. But I did discover that one of the slides I did get was they didn't send me the proper codec for it, so it's like. But the visuals themselves can work itself. So without further ado, because I can't see you because my PowerPoint is covering up my regular screen, so I gotta be careful what I do.
That's fine.
Little green
I'm still
light
here.
is on, so I gotta be careful.
Yep. They can see you. Everyone else can still see you.
Oh God, that could be scary. Again, face for radio. So, okay guys, so with the ZV-1, we announced it just a few weeks ago. And it hit stores yesterday, and Justin unfortunately got his today, so we had our delivery date on June 11th, and it is really designed for content creators. So some of the features that have always been a problem with some of the cameras can be the color, the focus, audio. Always very, very important when you're doing any kind of video and vlogging is to make sure you have good audio. You can have beautiful footage, but if the sound's not right, it can actually kill everything that you've done. If you've ever talked to anybody who's ever worked on like TV or movies or any kind of production like that, they'll tell you, the sound's got to be good. Even videographers for weddings, got to make sure that their wireless lav mics are working, to make sure they get the vows. And this one's also been designed a little bit, the camera's changed its design a bit to, again, be optimized for the video creators. And it just definitely has some killer features that they put into it. They've pulled some features from the RX100 Mark V, the Mark VII. They've grabbed some other key features in other cameras. And so they've really kind of like, cherry picked from some of the other cameras to have some fun. Some of the features you can see that's up on your screen is, autofocusing. They have really driven the autofocus in this thing to be really geared for those people who are doing, say they're doing, in one of the videos they'll show like a makeup, it's how it goes from the product to the person, and how fast that autofocus switches from one to the other. You also have the ability to do defocus the background, really work up that bokeh. That feature I was talking about is what they call it product showcasing. So it's like if I were to do this and move it back and forth, in my case, it's going to be my Tyrion Lannister cup. I love my sweet tea. Not even the South. Face priority auto exposure. So if you're walking with this thing, and say you walk underneath a bridge, and as the lighting changes from being in the light, going from the shade, and as you come out, it still keeps the exposure on the face itself.
Really cool. Yeah.
Oh, it is really, really cool. And they've improved on the color science, and that's something that Sony always does. Is it's not only its innovations, but improving upon what they've come out with. To make sure that we're always, we're not sitting back on our laurels and say, well, we're Sony, we don't need to do anything else. Forget about it. It's like, no, okay, what can we do next? I think one of our conversations we had very early on, it was a Japanese principle called Kaizen. And Kaizen is, basically constant and never-ending improvement in incremental steps. Just doing it like, okay, every time we're going to do something a little bit better, and a little bit better, and a little bit better. And also sometimes what we want to do is we have to, if the science isn't there, we have to create the science and technology to be able to, put it into the cameras and the future devices. So check this.
I remember seeing this where they're doing the pan focus and just how quick it is to go back and forth. Wow.
Yeah, so it's using the face to
Can't forget about real-time AI autofocus.
No animals though, we just got people.
Well, how many animals do you know are going to be blogging or vlogging?
Brian the dog from Family Guy?
Wow, that's different.
I know. So, this is where that background to focus, and this is one of the ones where my codec was off. But it's like where you can do that to really improve the bokeh, where, we'll make sure that, it's you being, the center of attention or your subject. This is going to allow you to do that. You just basically hit a button on the camera, so they've kind of redesigned some things quite nicely. There we go.
Yeah, I wondered if you shared with sound or not. I mean, I don't have any sound, but
you don't. I can hear it on mine, so it's not doing. So sorry about that.
You might have shared with sound. I just know that if I pipe these through, sometimes I just don't get to hear what everyone else gets to hear.
Yeah, which is weird. Let's see. So one of the things they were talking about how you can change it, and then here's that product showcasing that we're talking about.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, dude, that's so cool.
Yeah, so
it's just so fast. It sees it and then it drops it and then it sees it and it just drops it again.
And if you notice when it showed you the one piece of technology of the 1-inch sensor in there, and it's an RS, which in the Exmor system stands for restructured stacked. So it is actually a stacked sensor. So it's able to process the information out much faster. So it's very similar in the respects to like the A9 and the RX0, where it's got that stacked sensor onto it. Now here's what I'm going to talk about too, so you can watch this one about the auto exposure function with the face priority as this young lady is walking, the ZV-1 versus the conventional camera. So that's that beautiful thing about having a 1.8 lens, 1.8 to 2.8 lens. Now the focal range is going to be a 24 to 70, so it still you want to keep it still really nice, a nice zoom, and you don't want to go too much in zoom, especially if you're trying to vlog, because then maybe you're zooming too far in the eye. It's like, someone had a late night. Look at that bloodshot. That's what is usually mean. So, like I said, it's going to keep everything looking bright. So that's another real good example of that as well. Now, when they're working with the advanced color science, What I find so funny about this slide, besides working with different skin tones, but it has, as you see at the bottom, it says a soft skin effect. And I'm looking at these 4 barely 20-something-year-olds. I got T-shirts older than these kids, and they're worried about.
What do they have to worry about?
Look at this,
I need. Yeah, you need to soften all this.
It's like, isn't there like a skin softening effect in this thing? Oh no, that's like. But yeah, with the camera, it does that. But also too, what's nice about this is with the microphone. You can see there it does have a multi-interface shoe on to the left of the camera. If you're actually holding it in your hands, of course, for the image here, it's on to the right. And that whole center part is a microphone. It is a 3-capsule directional microphone aimed towards the front. And it also comes with that windscreen. People call them like dead kittens and like that. So it's a plastic piece that slides into the multi-interface shoe, and then the wind noise, the windsock, the dead kitten actually covers it up, so it's taken care of. But also on the side is you also have the ability to plug in a mic, like an external mic, a 3.5 millimeter connection. So with this one, you're not going to hear it, so we're just going to ignore it. At least you can see the graphics. So I'm going to skip this point because he does like an example of the windscreen, and if you guys can't hear it, it's kind of pointless.
Well, what you could do is you could stop share, and then reshare. Let me see if I can do anything. Yeah, I can kick it. But what you could do is end your share, and reshare it, and then there's a little screen that might pop up that says add with audio.
I will do that right now.
It's in the bottom left, so that should be pretty quick. I still might not be able to hear it, but everyone at home will at least be able to hear it.
All right, so we'll stop the share.
Yep.
And we want to go into camera mic, or
no, just the share screen.
I go right back to it.
Yep. And then when you do it, you should see a little icon in the bottom left that says share with audio.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Maybe it does it by default for you.
All right, let's try. All right, so let's try going back. So since I can't see the screen, my presenter screen popped up on mine, let Justin know if you can hear the sound. So I'm going to go back up. Sound is running.
Okay. Again, I probably can't hear it because my microphone, trying to get the sound right through this and through my Elgato thing. Oh, he says it's very low, so you could probably turn it up, Barrett, if there's some sound.
That's at the end of that point. I'm like, great. I'm going to blast my ears out here in a second.
Yeah, that's the only thing. It might be louder for you.
Yeah. So so two of the mics that you can use are very small and compact, are the GZ1 and the XYST1M. But again, you don't have to worry about that. So here's that nice thing too, is about that flip out screen, which is that one, thing that I've been beaten up on for the last 4 years. Is like, why don't you guys have a flip out screen? Well, now we've got that as well. So you also have, if you notice, it's just there looking at the screen, you do have an LED light to let you know that you are recording. So instead of standing around going, what's going on? And also too, they've got a little bit more of a grip on this one. So if you don't get the Bluetooth grip, you can still hand hold it, and the buttons are bigger and for you able to activate them and start and stop the recording. So some of the things I pulled as well were, more of the technology. So, if you're being a Sony shooter, if you don't have the Imaging Edge mobile software, it's a good idea to get it, because you can use the add-on for the movies in conjunction with the vloggers. You can also do some editing and play around through the Imaging Edge desktop version. Being video, it does do 4K. Now, typically with our, like RX100 series, especially the 4K, is that your shooting time was maximized at 5 minutes. Well, there's a slide coming up. I'm going to, gonna spoil the news in this one. If you put the auto like power off or auto temperature off and set it for high, you can actually continuously record. You're not limited to the 5 minutes. And what's kind of funny is the RX100 Mark 7 does that too. I didn't even know that, because usually if I'm doing something with that small camera, I'm not shooting long. It's just, really something quick and down and dirty. It's not being long. And if I needed to go longer, I've got other gear to do it. But in a pinch, this one, I can shoot longer than 5 minutes, just setting the temperature higher. 4K, you've got the hybrid log gamma. You've got S-log, or slog as it's affectionately called, 2 and 3, so you can shoot at a lower contrast, lower color saturation, and then take it into post-production and be able to color grade it. So if you're shooting with other cameras, you can put them all together so everything has a nice look to it. Of course, features in there. It has interval shooting. So say you want to get that nice little, you're in a tropical place and you want to get the sunset, clamp it down, hell, like I said, that thing turns into a tripod. Set it up and say, go ahead and shoot, and let it go around. Let it go through its whole process and capturing it and create a stop motion. Super slow motion. So you've got up to, it's like 960 frames per second, which of course usually slows down, or lowers the video quality, but you can get something that might be necessary. Maybe it's someone doing a backflip, it's a golf swing, something along those lines. Vertical shooting, being able to do the metadata so you can compress it down to be able to shoot like in the 1x1. Some of the other features too is, going through the HDMI so you can watch through it. And if you notice there too, like reduction of distortion, and part of that is going to be the Bions or Bion's X processor. It's kind of weird, as I've heard it from people at Sony. Each person call it something Bions or Bion's. For me, I'm a big kid and a nerd, we all know this. So to me, it's like the Bionic Man, so Bion's X. Saving the file names, and an XAVCS, proxy recording, so not only say recording in 4K, but you're also recording in a smaller file and lower quality one, so when it comes to editing and be able to say show it really quickly, you can do that as well. And our cameras, most people don't realize this, is that you can still extract an image from the video. And with a 4K, it's equivalent to an 8 megapixel camera. And so it's always one of those nice ones. Most people, we really don't advertise that as much, but yeah, it's just very simple to pull a frame out of video and still have a good quality frame. Does have a built-in neutral density filter, which we had in the 5, and it's been gone on the 6 and the 7, but it came back for this one because if you've ever shot video, sometimes it can be really bright. No matter how much you lower the ISO, you got to worry about you can only put the shutter speed at a certain setting for the proper exposure. Because typically, if you're shooting 30p, you want to set your shutter speed to be double, the reciprocal, so it's like 1/60th of a second. So, and there's only so much that you can do before things start looking kind of weird. Also, again, 1-inch sensor, so it's larger than what you'll find in most point-and-shoot cameras. You've got the RS sensor, so it's fast processing. It virtually eliminates global shutter. I mean, it's just the way it can do it. It's just so phenomenal. It still get in quirky situations, but compared to a lot of our other cameras, other than like the A9s, it will, golf club, great example. Swing the golf club, the shaft of the club is straight. The head looks like normal. It doesn't look like something out of like a Looney Tunes cartoon. Great image quality. You've got 65% of the sensor covered with focusing points.
Focus points, that's great.
Yeah, so 315 face detection autofocus points. You've got the real-time eye autofocus, the real-time tracking. You can still touch the screen for not only to activate the focus, but also work as a shutter as well. So, also just touch, track this. Works awesome. And, with the 24 frames per second, they say up to like 172 shots. It's always going to key in on what your quality of your file is going to be. So, if you're shooting, extra fine JPEG in RAW, then you know what, you're not going to be able to shoot that, that many. But you know what, that might be okay. Maybe you want to go for the quality more than the transition. It's your camera, it's you doing the footage. You know what you want, and now you got a camera that can actually really do it quite nicely. we've got the My Dials, the group displays, and the group displays works really nice as if you're doing that burst. It takes all of them and puts them in like one kind of section for viewing, for like looking at that one burst versus, okay, let me scroll through and look at all these images that I've just shot. It's like, okay, here's this one group of, say, burst of 20, and I do another burst of 20 and another burst of 20. So basically, like, they appear to be like stacked images, but it lets you know that, that's a bunch of shots. And then you go, well, okay, this one worked. Great. This one didn't. This one didn't. Okay, I can delete these two groups and keep the one that actually worked. Like with anything, we do have the rating feature, so you can say, hey, this is a great shot. So like, say you do those 3 bursts. Okay, this one's really good. This one is This one may be usable, but you can say, okay, here's maybe this is a 5, this is a 2, and this is a 3. And you can go back afterwards and then reevaluate. Is the footage that good? Let's see if it's. Okay, I'm blasting my ears out here.
The body is built for blogging. Just so everyone knows, this is your first fully articulating screen, isn't it? On any camera?
On the, ever since we went with the E-mount, yeah. It has all that really nice stuff. So yeah, definitely. So they've had them in the past on the A-mount series cameras, but they have not come to the E-mount. Now here, at least with this one, we have a better use, because the other ones you could get them to flip up, but not off to the side.
Yeah.
Because the problem is, if you put anything into the multi-interface shoe, is that you try flipping the screen, that little windscreen could cover, or the external mic could cover, and then you can't compose your shot. So, just again, some of the features we were just talking about. And now something that's going to be coming is there's going to be some software that's going to be able to allow you to very easily go through and set the camera up as a webcam. Everybody has been working hard to bridge that gap. Like I said earlier on when we first started out, I've got a A6600 up right now that's set up and ready to go, but I have to use a second piece of software besides the Imaging Edge remote. I also have to use OBS, which thank God is free. I also have a capture card, one of the Black Magics, but I have to go through the OBS and then whatever else I'm going through. So it's just getting it all working out. And
that's one more thing.
Yeah, it's like the easier that and sooner you can plug and play and go that route, the just happier everybody's going to be. So that's what.
Ooh, partial color.
Mm-hmm. So the one thing is, it was hard to hear, is like you said, leave all the hard stuff to the camera and focus on creating, which is awesome. It's what we want to do. It's like, the less we have to think about the technical and the more we can start working with, our talent or focus on the content that we want to create, it's just so much better. And that's, we keep trying to make things as easy as possible. And like I said, it started hitting stores yesterday. And, it's one of those things where normally it's gonna be $7.99. Up until June 28th. After June 28th, it goes back up to $7.99, because for basically 2.5 weeks, it's going to be $7.50. And for those of you that are watching that do a lot of vlogging, or want to be able to have and maybe you're more on the video side compared to the still sides, but still want to do stills, this is the camera for you. It really is. I'm really looking forward to when I finally get my sample, because this might be one of those fun ones. I think last time we talked is like one of my nephews was about to turn 5, and he actually lives in Michigan. And I've done some stuff with my phone, not the Xperia 1, but my old phones I used to send him. If I was at an air show, he at the time, even at basically from like 2.5 on, he's just been fascinated with airplanes. So one time I was in Ohio, and I actually got onto the Golden Knights plane, the Army parachuters.
Yeah.
And so I used my phone to take video of the inside to show them, and here I am doing one of these, you know, hey, look, it's Uncle Bear, look where I'm at. I mean, this is something that would be just so awesome to have, where I'm like, better quality, and I can send it to him, or edit it and have some fun, and then get it out to him, and just doing the whole video side of it, because it's so cool watching those guys on a plane. You don't see, you know, we do stills, you capture that moment, but watching them get into that moment and the stuff in between those moments where they're razzing each other, you know, they're checking each other out, and they're going, hoo, 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 or whatever their routine is before they jump out of a plane, you know. It's amazing, and I think that, you know, something like this is definitely one of those nice and easy things to travel with.
Agreed.
And that's the other thing you get too with this little accessory. You also get, besides the grip, you also get a card, a 64 gigabyte SD card. That's, you know, fast enough to work with it.
Nice.
Yeah, so let's get out of there. I don't think I have anything else. So I will stop the share because we don't need it.
Good. No, I appreciate you showing that to us, Barrett. And,
oh, you're welcome.
To give people an idea, I did unbox one here, and
I could hear
I've
you.
still got it. Still got that right here, and that's how big we are. So that.
Excuse me, one quick second. I have one of my pets outside who's trying to claw through the door. Thank God for wireless mics.
No worries. I've got this. So the thing I want to show people here is the difference between, this is an HX80. So the HX80 is a smaller point and shoot camera, and I'm trying to have the camera catch that. And this is the size of the ZV-1, and they're roughly the same size. It's a little bit bigger, and that's because there's a 1-inch sensor that's in there, but very similar in size to the RX 100 series. Yeah, and it's like, as it was demonstrating, I did recognize how big the buttons were in comparison. So we'll get them in here better. There's bigger buttons on top. Dials on the back, very similar. Still a little bit bigger. We'll wait for the camera to catch focus. This is the ZV-1 right here. That's
the ZV-1 working like this, so you would have just been zap back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Back and forth. Product review.
There you go.
And yeah, it's first fully articulating screen, so I could actually use it like a phone. Either way. Yeah. No, it's really cool. So we do have one in stock, folks. So if you guys are interested in that, this is it. And some questions that kind of rolled in, Barrett, while we were doing this. Rob Royce asked, which cameras have audio inputs in the Sony lineup?
If we're talking point and shoots, the first one was the 7. The 6 did not have. I might have to go grab mine to confirm that, but basically 1 through 5 did not have
audio inputs.
Right, like a mic jack.
Okay.
3.5, and the 7 they put it into it, because that's been one of those, you know, things you had to rely on, was the in-camera mic, which, you know, you can use, but it wasn't usually the best source to be able to do it. But, you know, when it comes to just about all the other cameras, with the exception of like the A6000. Which you could put that GZ1 mic, or actually any multi-interface mic onto it, XY-STM1, the GZ1, those you can do audio through the multi-interface shoe, where other cameras you can. So, you know, I mentioned before the 6600 that I have, that's got the mic jack, the 65, the 63, 64, 61, A7, all the current A7s, the current generations, the 9s, R3, 7.3, R2, S2, and 7.2. So basically, it's like the only one that really doesn't is like the A6000 and the point and shoots, with the exception of like the 7 and now this one.
And beyond that, he was asking, does this have clean HDMI out? And that has an HDMI out. Does that mean it's clean HDMI?
To the best of my knowledge, I think it does. I mean, I can always double check on that one too, but I thought it did have a clean HDMI out. That was one of the things for the video vloggers too, and I'm going to see if I can look it up, so I apologize for doing this on the screen. blank on that one. Image. So I have this. One of my teammates, he's working on it. I grab the specs. Okay, didn't say it there. I'm going to jump to the website real quick and take a look, which I have it kind of prepped. But let's go into...
I mean, it has an HDMI micro, is what it has.
Yeah, which is the standard connection for us. And typically, if we're doing S-Log, then yeah, that usually means there's clean HDMI.
Mm-hmm.
But I always like to make sure that that is the case.
Yeah. So we're not playing the guessing game.
Exactly. Too much. Don't want that. Let's do that. That's why we can't have nice things, right, kids? Someone's already given it a 5-star review on the website. It's one review, but it's still a 5-star. Let's see, specs. Oh, that's the part I hate. Yes, 3-directional mic. 3 capsule.
Bear with us, folks, as Barrett goes on a fact-finding mission.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun. What price does it go back to after the sale? So, Jeannie, I can answer this while Barrett is doing that. So this is the camera we're talking about. That's the vlogging camera. So if you're doing a lot of vlogging, this is normally $799, as you see it right here. That's a 1-inch sensor again with a 1.8 to 2.8 lens. What is that? 4x zoom, Barrett?
It is. It's 2470, so that's 2.
Yes, 4 times. Something like that. It's like a 4x. It's like
right,
4x
but also
optical.
too is like with our cameras too, we have a feature called clear image zoom,
yes,
which
so you
allows
can double
you in
that.
video that you can double it. Yeah, so it's really a neat feature in our cameras. You can do it with all the other cameras. If you're shooting RAW or RAW and JPEG, you can't do it. It's strictly when you're in JPEG, and since the video for the most part is it's a processed, you can still work with it in video in that comparison. So it's.
Rob is giving us a hard time. He's saying hard questions, and it's like, well, this is new.
The right answer there, Mister.
Yeah, I'd rather have it right than wrong.
Right.
Deliver.
This is
don't deliver anything but the facts.
Is making sure I get you the correct information. But it would be kind
well,
of.
Jeannie, to finish that, it is $749 right now. It is $749 until 6/28. So that is Monday, or no, Sunday. Sunday.
Yes. So you've got basically 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yes. Great minds think alike.
2 weeks.
Let's do 2 weeks. And then from there, he asked, group display is coming to the A9s. I don't know if that's a question or if that's a statement, Rob. You'll have to clarify. Group display. Oh, group display. Is it coming to the A9s? That is a question. If Justin would just take a second to read a couple more words there.
Was that him saying that, or was that you saying that about yourself?
I was saying that about myself. I couldn't read there for a second.
Okay.
I can admit when I'm wrong or not on point.
Group display should be in the A9s. It is a feature that you have to turn on in the menu system. Is it an A9 Mark I or an A9 Mark II?
I think his is the A9 Mark I. That's what I want to fancy a guess.
I mean, ever since basically with the 5.0 firmware update last year, it turned into a brand new camera. They added a ton of features, and that should have
like new algorithms and stuff. A lot of like what was in the A7 III or something.
Even more. I mean, I just texted one of my teammates, and he's like said, yeah. He's just to confirm. He's like, yeah. He goes, yeah, it's got it. Clean HDMI. So yes.
Clean. Yes. Finally.
Yes. Yay.
We can Clean HDMI out. And yes, Rob Royce has the A91. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, it should have. It's in there. I can't remember what it is, where it is in the menu off the top of my head. My first thought it was in like camera tab 2. 4. I'd have to grab mine, and I can do that for you. So I just have to get up and walk away again because it's not.
Yeah,
on my
I mean you could do that.
Okay, good. So I got permission.
Yeah,
Yes.
You have my permission. Say
Well,
la vie.
well, guess what? I'm on a wireless mic, so, and I got headphones, so go ahead, ask questions. I can answer. I can multitask.
Yeah, guys. So if you have any questions, this is your intermission. Please submit your questions now for the last bottom 20 of the hour. The other thing is, in 20 minutes, Barrett, are we going to be able to talk about how to go live with the Sony cameras, or is that kind of like the tease factor where it's coming soon with a lot of this new software that Sony's developing?
It's a little bit of both, to be honest with you. Right now you can use just about any camera, RX0, RX10, A6000, and use the cameras as a webcam. So in a lot of respects, you can go live with them. But with the new software that they're hinting at and they've talked about is supposed to be next. What they were saying is July.
Okay.
July still basically it doesn't end for another month and a half. So I'm always at my cynical side is like, well, July, it could be the end of July, but they still can say it came out in July. Me, I always you say July 1st is like a week and a half away.
I can't believe it already. It's just like
yeah.
May is gone, June is gone. Oh, where is the time going?
Let's see. We've had fires. We've had pandemic. We've had murder hornets. It's part of me is like, what's next? I'm afraid to ask that.
Did you see the flame throwing squirrels from North Korea?
No, I haven't seen those, but I've seen someone photoshopped like the head of an alligator onto a grizzly bear, and they're called the grizzly gators. Another meme had a sign that showed like spider farm, like pointing this way, and then the nuclear plant also like that way. It's like, hey, I think I just saw what June's going to offer us. I was like, oh my goodness, that's hysterical.
You say a spider farm?
Yeah.
Who makes
something really weird?
Who does something like that?
I know. Are they trying to become Peter Parker? It's like, jeez.
Well, the thing is, it's a good thing I'm not afraid of spiders. Yeah. But I mean,
Not
that
a
doesn't
fan.
mean. Yeah.
I can tolerate them, but I'm not a fan. And them, it's like it's partially like Indiana Jones, snakes. I think it happened when I was a kid one time. I was at a pet shop, and the guy had one, and it was just sitting there, and he put it, and instead of just, I thought it would just sit there. It just started to protect itself from falling, started to wrap around, and I was like,
A snake or?
snake.
Oh yeah.
Spiders, I remember one time when I was a kid, I was reading, and I felt something on my chest. I looked down, and there was this thing sitting there looking up at me, and I just remember freaking throwing my book. Glad I didn't hit myself with the book,
Oh, that's great, man.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
Classic.
Yes,
bear.
okay, for Rob, I was actually wrong. It's in the playback menu.
Okay.
Page 3, very last option, display as group. Right there.
Repeat that menu sequence again one more time for Rob.
Rewind. So it is in the playback menu, or playback tab, page 3, bottom line.
Bottom line. 3, bottom line.
Yep. Be the bottom. Do the whole
And he did say cool looking options to add to my live setup. So if he's talking about all those things and talking about this, I would actually be interested in trying this out, just as our webcam at some point, just to see what kind of results we get from it. Because if it has like this cool, quick face tracking stuff going on.
Oh yeah.
And by the way, he says thank you. So Rob,
welcome.
You are welcome. That's why we do stuff like this, guys. It may take us a while to find the answers, but
It was a new product. Cut me some slack, all right? I didn't get a sample.
It's brand new. Like I just got one today,
Literally.
for crying out loud. Yeah.
I don't even have one, and I work for the company.
Yeah. Well, and that's because they're looking.
You got mine. You take care of my camera.
They're just looking to take care of the customers first.
And I
Barrett.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I get that. I truly do.
They
I
feed
appreciate it.
they feed you and I, sir. So like they can have the cameras in the meantime. We can wait.
Please, sir, may I have some more?
Please, sir, can I have some more?
More?
Oh, we cannot be in a room together. Not even
Oh,
in a
yeah,
virtual room.
well, we've told you guys before.
Ah.
When the two of us are together, it can be very, very humorous.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah.
so some of the best options. I know I've got so as an example, I've got a good friend who's a television reporter, and he's got an A6300.
Mm-hmm.
What's with the software coming in July, so we can hook it up through Sony imaging
Yes. So
in July.
Well, you can, like I said, you can do it now.
Okay.
And there's two ways you can do it. Number one is you don't need anything special like a capture card. You can actually use the camera by itself. What you'll have to do first is put the camera into PC remote. That's under the USB connection. On the A9 Mark II and the A7 R4, it is in the network tab, and it's page 1, bottom of the screen. Where just about all the other cameras, it's under the USB Connect, which is typically in the setup menu.
Okay.
And it's it's the same spot where when you go to do firmware updates, where mass storage is at, it's usually the bottom option in there for being able to set it over to PC remote. And you need to use a USB cable that allows you to do data transfer. There are USB cables that are out there that just do power. So if you're going to connect it, and once I kind of tell you the process, if it's not working, try changing your cable. And this is one of the reasons why I always recommend you use the Sony cable, if possible, because it is a power and a data transfer cable, where ones that you pick up very cost effectively may not be. So they may be just strictly just to juice it up.
So it's prudent to have OEM cables.
Yes. And the irony of the situation is the cable that I have plugged in for my 6600 right now is not an OEM, but it does both. So I lucked out. I have one that is.
You got a good enough one that you could do that.
Yes, absolutely. Then you'll have to go and download the desktop version of our Imaging Edge software. It's a free download. It comes with kind of like 3 sections. One is viewer, the second is edit, and the third is remote. In this case, all you really need to worry about is remote. So once you have your camera set up for PC remote, go ahead and download or launch the remote software. And then you will see a screen. Here, let's do this.
Ooh, are we going to...
I'm going to share a screen. I'm going to have to move it first.
And the other way, while you're looking for that, is with a capture card, right?
Yes.
Something
so
that
like
something
Elgato
that looks like
or
this.
Blackmagic.
Yep. And how that works, guys, is you've got a USB cable, and then you've got your HDMI cable. The HDMI plugs into your camera, which I'm using, and then you plug in the USB to the computer.
So if you kick it over, there we go, good. So as you can see, I kind of got it running in the background. I'll explain why in a second. So this one right here is actually coming from the A6600. This is the window you would see in Imaging Edge remote. So I have so much control over the camera. So I put mine in movie mode. I have it, it's the camera set for 30p, and it's 1/60th of a second, and I can control it out. And then the second part is to get a free software called OBS, and that's this one back here. And with the OBS, let's see if I want to try and do this. Yeah, let's do this. Let me see if I can do this. I'm going to try and pull this one off because I already had it set up. Let's do sources. And what you'll typically do, this should be fun. All right. I'm going ahead and I'm going to disconnect that one real quick. Are you sure? Yes, go ahead and remove it. So now that I've opened up or download OBS, like I said, it's a free software, open broadcasting software, I think is the technical term for the OBS. And once I plug it in, I've got the software for Imaging Edge launched. I go ahead and launch OBS, and you can see I have nothing on my screen. So I'm going to go down here and hit the plus, and I'm going to go into window capture. And I'm going to go ahead and name it. A6600. So if you notice on the screen down here, I also have BM. That stands for Black Magic. So that's for my connections for using a capture card. And I'm going to go ahead and do that. Hit OK. And now I'm going to go to this drop-down window, and I'm going to go to where it says Remote. That's the Imaging Edge software remote. Bada bing, bada bang. Look, I have a screen in there. And now what I can also go in and do too is I can go ahead and hit OK. I can actually go in and I can actually go ahead and crop out and move things around a little bit. So from here, I've got a little bit too much space. I can go ahead and compress down, move it up. I don't want to see this, so I'll just hit Alt or Option, depending on who you are working with. Oh, come on, you. Grab. So if I want to get rid of the box, I want to get rid of the very top of my laptop. Make it all picture. If I just have, typically you guys see my backdrop that has the, just the very edge of it, because it's a collapsible one. Maybe I'm showing that and I want to do one of these, which is what I was trying to hide, but we had too much lag time. And now I can say right here, and I can also go in, and I think I just figured it out today with the help of Mr. Justin. Justin. And I think I did. I'd worked it out where I was able to actually get it to fill the screen, but as you can see, I've got that little bit of that lag in there as well.
Yeah.
So I can,
which you can correct. That's the thing. You just have to kind of line up your mic sync and video sync is kind of a
right.
Yeah,
and
there's a way to do it.
It's like you just see the one source, but I can go in the OBS. I can go into my view, go into my dock, go into my audio mixer, which is now on a separate screen. I'm going to slide it over here real quick, and let's see if I do this one. Hit my settings.
Yeah, I forgot how. Yeah, it's something one of those sync offset. Yeah, in milliseconds is what you got to do.
Yeah, so you got to play with the milliseconds. Let's see. But these go to 11. How about we try? See if 300 helps. Now, how does it sound? Are we a little bit more or better? Yeah, we're still a little bit off. So I'd have to play with with that just to have some fun. So now, like I said, this is an A6600. So now I have a crop sensor or a Super 35 kind of format. I can do that with, like I said, just a PC remote cable that comes with the camera. 2 free pieces of software to be able to do it. So I'm going to switch back over to this one. So you get a little piece of both, actually. For my normal look, it's like, which one do I look at? And so I can do that to get myself started. Now, there are what they call capture cards. As a matter of fact, I've got, I don't want to drop my A9 on the floor because that would be bad. And then since my cameras use a micro HDMI, so this is the Blackmagic Ultra Studio Mini Recorder. So I have an SDI connection, and then I have to have, it also uses a Thunderbolt connection. So for my laptop, I have to get a Thunderbolt 3 to a Thunderbolt 2 connector to do it. And then I've got my regular HDMI connection here, and the micro that goes to the camera. And then I have to go through a few more steps. And I gotta be honest, it's like with it, I was having a hell of a time for a long time getting it to connect. I remember calling one of the guys on my team who was very video savvy and cursing quite profusely so I would vent a little bit. And then of course I did what everybody does. I Googled it and I found it. This guy walked through, I'm like, oh, and now I know how to get it going in the respects of connecting through the micro HDMI. Because since the camera does 4K, I do have to knock down the quality from 4K down to HD, because that's what this one can handle. They do make a 4K version of it, and there are other 4K versions. Elgato, what else was that other one? I can't think. But here's also the fun thing I did too.
And Rob threw out a question. I don't know if it's a question. He says, can they be use a bear is explaining to connect. So if you can clean that up, Rob, so we can understand what you're trying to say there.
Gort Klatu Vrata Nikto?
Where did you get that?
You kids today. Day the Earth Stood Still, that's classic. But it's also from the Evil Dead movies with Ash. is
Well,
well,
I'm also.
second and third.
Oh, he says, just wondering if tether cables are a good option to connect to the PC.
Isn't like the tether tools I'm not sure if I completely understand.
Like the company tether? Because there's the orange
Oh,
cable tether.
Oh, tether tools. Yeah, tether tools. Yeah, they make good cables. That's definitely an option. Yeah,
Okay.
it's just those are going to be data and power cables if necessary. I got mine. I mean, I've been wanting to pick some of those up myself. One because they're orange. Just kind of we're known for orange. We don't use the color nearly as much as we should. Orange.
Orange.
But yeah, no, tether tools are definitely an option that you can use.
Good.
Unfortunately,
yes,
my
yes.
cables work, so I don't
There
need to
we
buy
go.
another set. Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. So he's confirming yes on that. Yeah, we did it. I want to hear the Rocky sound. Oh, I just saw that meme like 20 times. The GIF.
That's one of my favorite from
GIF.
Napoleon Dynamite. Yeah, Kit. Love that movie.
Man, we're all doomed. We're all doomed.
Gina, come and eat.
So really, the biggest thing is, do you have to use OBS if you're using the Sony Capture software?
As of right now, yes. Right now, Sony's being very tight-lipped about what's coming. It's just like, there's something coming to help streamline it even more. I haven't gotten anything, but as you guys know, and I've made it very clear, is like I'll find out when they make the announcement to everybody else. So I'm looking forward to it because, I mean, it's the simpler I can do this and give a better production value for when we do have these. Because and like I know you're using your laptop's camera as well, and it's not
Me?
great quality. Aren't you using a laptop or are you using something else?
No, I'm using an Olympus right now. An
Explains the
EM1.
bad quality. Oh. Did I say that out loud?
Oh.
Did Tourette's kick in? Well, I have to say on my screen the image is really not that good. So
That gets me right here, man.
what do you
Either
think?
that,
Mike's
it's
watching?
high cholesterol.
Well, you do have a Lee's just on the corner.
Oh, there's a Lee's right over here, man.
Exactly.
That sounds so good right now. I could go for some. I could go for some mashed potatoes and gravy right now. My goodness, I'm gonna get that on the way home. I'm gonna walk my dog and I'm gonna go get some Lee's chicken.
There you go. Work some of it off before you put it back in. Work off some time. You got to offset.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just with like it with the screen, like with the image that I see, it's a little jaggy, it's a little slow.
You want to know why? That's something I forgot to do. I'm not
This is why
actually.
we can't have nice things.
I'm not tethered to the internet right now. I'm doing Wi-Fi, and it says I need to be plugged in.
Too. Yeah, unfortunately my Wi-Fi router is. I think I have a 25 or 50-foot cable floating around here. I just got to find it. I can plug directly in, and that would probably help what we saw earlier too. But yeah, so that's always one of those things too. Like Wi-Fi will always slow things down. So if you can plug directly in, that'll help.
Plug directly into your router for sure.
Yep. It'll definitely make your life.
And that's what I just did. And Claude Padalides, I don't know if you know Claude Padalides.
I know Claude. Hi, Claude.
But he says, "Hi, I'm your new Tether Tool rep." So, Rob,
we're going to be talking really soon, buddy.
Claude is apparently our new Tether Tool rep. So, Claude, it looks like you might have to send me an email here soon about a price sheet and stuff. And it looks like you got to call Barrett. So here's my number. Call me, maybe.
8675309.
Oh man.
Because I couldn't remember the one from AC/DC's Dirty Deeds. It's like I can't remember what that number is, but I can remember that one. Everyone remembers that one. But yeah, no. But Tether Tools I can tell you, makes a really good product. They've got some really cool tools to help preserve the integrity of the signal going from computer to camera or however it's being done. They've got toys to make sure that you don't like jerk out the cable from the connector, which you do that, man, and it's it
could be hell on your system.
Oh
and it would be prudent to get one of those accidental damage unintentional abuse warranties that we sell, which again is like 10% of the value of the camera, because yanking like if you tripped over a cord or somebody is on set with you and they trip over your cord and they pull that cable out, I mean, what is that, a main processing board repair, and that's like $400.
Oh yeah, probably.
At a minimum, $400 to repair a main processing board.
That's a safe guess. Yeah. I mean, the thing is too is it's like, if you have any like the full frame cameras, there's a little piece that comes inside the box.
Yes.
And people were like, what the hell is this? It's designed to help reduce it, to keep it so it's nice and straight, so it's not putting any weight onto it, and it screws right in. There's really tiny screws that do it. But Tether Tools has this plate that where you can have the cable go through and up, plug in, and it attaches to the bottom. And there's an Arca Swiss version of one.
Ooh, that's
and
cool.
a non one. I have. Hold that thought. Hold that thought.
Ooh, we're exploring. While we're looking in the Barney bag to see what we can see. Sorry, that's something from childhood, man.
Well, you're never too old
Barney
to
had the
enjoy
Barney
happy
bag.
childhood. Barney bag.
It was the Barney bag. They would find things that they would make imagine. Yes.
So
Is that the same plate or no?
this is the tether tool. So you can see on here.
Oh, look
and
at
Claude,
that.
now you owe me. I'm plugging your stuff there, buddy. So you can see where you can actually put the cable through, so it can loop through, and then when you plug it in, you can come up and like the side, and therefore it stays stable. So if it gets tugged, the whole camera goes. What's nice, as you can see, is it's got. I figure it's great. There we go. It's got the Arca Swiss type connection, so I can put it right into an Arca Swiss type head. So I don't have to worry about putting a plate onto it, which I can do. I still have two quarter 20 threads on there that I can use to, put it. If I'm using a Manfrotto and I've got the RC2 plate, I can put it on there so I can pop it in and out if necessary, or just use it for the Arca Swiss type.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah. So
Um,
I wish you were my rep before I bought this. I won't even tell you what I paid for this, but it's been worth it. It really has. So.
Well, maybe we get you rolling on that. Maybe. Like if he's still tuning in, Claude, if you got Bear's number, give him this is the little elbow, yeah.
After all these years, he should.
Now
Or I'm blocked.
Yeah. No more for you. So one of the last questions I have, because we're don't we have a class coming up with you here soon, Bear?
We do next week. Next Friday, if I remember correctly. It is the Tips and Tricks Volume 2.
Yeah.
So it's a continuation of some of the features in the camera. So if you did not see Volume 1, that's okay. It's completely okay. They're not designed. They're designed to stand on their own. It's just more to learn about what's inside your camera. The Volume 1 are some of my favorite features that are in the cameras, and this one is just continuing on. And I am currently working on a Volume 3 because again, there's so much in the cameras. And there's just it's like, what do you put in there? What do you put in each class? I mean, I could overwhelm everybody, but we've already talked about heads exploding and cleaning up after that. But yeah, so be on the lookout. I've got more stuff coming down the pipeline. But
Great.
Yeah, so and that's we are, I think, 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Right now? Oh, next Friday?
No, for next Friday.
Yeah. Yes. I'm looking right now. I'm hunting.
6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Yes.
Your class,
Yep.
You don't even know. Gee, that's our class.
6 to 7.
But,
It's
yep.
well, I get to tune in. It's I might even have to jump in between two classes. I don't know. Double book, baby. Two different crowds.
Nowadays, that's definitely something
Yeah.
you can do nowadays with
Yeah.
all this online stuff. So
We got a virtual classroom, Barrett. We don't have to share the floor space with someone else here at the store.
This is true. This is very, very
Yeah.
true. It's a conversation I've had with many of my accounts talking about. It's like, I could be, I could do a class for you, and I could be on the road in Ohio or Kentucky or something along those lines, where all I got to make sure I have is either good internet and the space to do it. So
Yeah.
and the material.
It's great, and I appreciate. I just want to say I appreciate you being able to do this for us. We may, I think we're, we talked about doing it a whole bunch, but I think just like once or twice a month, it's good, and especially before a class, like a week before a class, we're just kind of really getting people stoked and excited for the Tips and Tricks number 2, and really that's kind of like what we're doing. But it's always nice to get the preface new merchandise, like cool new toys.
Absolutely.
That's the one thing that I like being able to present, is just we get to bring light to something new for you guys, and this is definitely prudent in the life that we're leading right now, is that a lot of things have moved to this whole vlogging aspect in live streaming. And so I think it's just great that, here's this option that's the size of a point and shoot that has everything that you need. It's got the mic hookups, it's got the HDMI out,
Yep.
it's got this nice quick focus, it's got the demonstration mode, so when I do something like this, it's going to be faster than what maybe I'm dealing with and trying to get back on my face.
With Sony, it'd be fine. If you're using somebody else.
Hey, it's got two batteries, man.
Mike Amico, I love you, but if I didn't mess with you, it means I don't like you. So, but I love you. You know that, buddy. I can't wait to see you.
Yeah. Well, Barrett, it's 6 o'clock. You've given us an hour of your time. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this for us today. You guys tune in to sign up for our class. It's on our events tab for the Tips and Tricks Volume 2 with Mr. Barrett McGivney on the other side of the virtual mirror here or something like that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. On the flip side.
On the flip side, brother from another mother.
There we go.
Again, Barrett, I just thank you, man. I hope you have a great weekend. I appreciate you doing this, and I thank you guys for all tuning in. If you guys have any questions for me, I'm at the camera shop Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can get a hold of me, Justin at camerashopmuskegon.com. You can check us out online at camerashopmuskegon.com and Camera Muskegon on Instagram. So we've got all those things covered. We are also open on Saturdays now, 10 to 2. So just be mindful of our reduced hours until things get back to somewhat normal. And I hope you guys all enjoy your weekends. I hope you all have fun being creative. And I look forward to seeing you guys for our live videos and Barrett's video next week on Friday.
Thanks, guys. Again, please stay safe. Get out and shoot. The weather has become so beautiful. I'm not going shooting. I'm going out on my bike while I still got a couple hours of sunshine. But hope to see you next week for the class. If not, if I don't see you in the future, I'll see you in the pasture.
There you go. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I know. But take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye.